Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for coming into the office today. Appreciate it. Wow, that was some speech. Certainly wasn't what we anticipated. We obviously thought we were going to have a little gaslighting, but certainly didn't think we were going to see a flamethrower by any means. But this was certainly just a practice of what was needed to satisfy a constitutional requirement to present a budget. I think we heard on the way down at the elevator that this budget will certainly be dead on arrival, and that is absolutely correct. The Illinois Democrats are not going to be passing this budget for sure. We just heard very recently that a $3.2 billion deficit, but you can't all of a sudden raise the overall budget to $55 billion, so you can't raise it by $2 billion, and then cut cost all on paper and have that be all of a sudden balanced. We are here as the Illinois House Republicans to expose and oppose this kind of policy framework, and we're going to do just that. This is certainly nothing in here that is going to benefit Illinois families. It's not going to help Illinois businesses. You talked about, this is, going to promote businesses to come. I didn't see anything in here that was going to lower our corporate tax rate. I didn't see anything that's going to lower our Illinois franchise tax. I didn't see any good policy that was going to do that at all. But I certainly did hear a lot of political rhetoric that is certainly going to put him on the stage for a presidential race, which is unfortunate because ethically, we shouldn't be having political speeches under the dome. Norine? Oh, can we move that?
Yeah, we just have to pick it up. We can't slide it. Those were our instructions per Rob. Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for taking the time. What we just heard, and this is not a flashback, but what we just heard was the presentation of the largest budget in the history of the state of Illinois. I think you heard that last year. I think you heard that the year before that and the year before that. In fact, this budget would spend about over $55 billion, so over $2 billion more than last year. Somehow or another, the $3.2 billion deficit we were looking at about 36 hours ago has magically disappeared. The governor talked about magic beans. Well, I want to tell you, we got some magic beans going on here, folks. In just the last 6 years, we have had a 36% increase in our budget in the state of Illinois. That is incredulous and certainly unsustainable. Were there some good things that we were able to decipher in the budget? Yes, none of which came up on the House floor, but certainly the governor is proposing doing away with the HBIA for undocumented folks here in the state of Illinois, and that would save a considerable amount of money. That's for the population between 42 and 64. There is no comment, however, on cutting costs for the entire population and saving that money so that we can at least put a portion of that into health care benefits for our citizens. And yet we continue to protect the undocumented at the cost of our citizens. I think it's absolutely, totally unfair. Lots of gimmicks going on in this budget, but, that's nothing new. I don't see that this budget even sees the light of day with the Democratic supermajority. So, as is always the case, our work begins now. And I hope that we can begin in earnest and that our colleagues on the other side of the aisle will open their eyes and look at their children and their grandchildren and think, what's the right thing to do for them? Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. My name is Ryan Spain, State Representative from the 73rd District. I live in Peoria. This was a highly political speech that we listened to today, and you have to wonder, Governor Pritzker sees himself speaking to the nation, and I don't know that anyone is listening. Illinois continues to show itself as a state that is struggling with challenges for economic growth, population loss, high taxes, and yet we continue to spend more and more. And that's the record that Governor Pritzker will have to reconcile with the people of the United States of America as he seeks to launch his presidential campaign for 2028. I would say, though, he is not going to be running against Donald Trump in 2028. And he needs to understand that as soon as possible, because there's a lot at risk for the state of Illinois by continuing to play the part of antagonizer to the President of the United States. We have tremendous dollars that flow from the federal government to the state of Illinois, responsible for public safety, health care, education, and I don't want to be involved with the type of constant fighting and bickering with the President of the United States. The governor seems to be of political benefit to him. So we need to move forward. I'm glad that we've reached this point of transition now where the budget is handed to the legislature, and we need to be sensitive to a number of different things. If Governor Pritzker is running for president, we are concerned what sort of ticking time bombs may he leave behind as he moves on to his other ambitions that the taxpayers of Illinois are going to have to deal with at some point. So that's the first thing. Second, the budget includes, as Leader Hammond said, we were looking at a $3.2 billion deficit just days ago. That deficit has now been cut in half with very rosy revenue projections from the Governor's Office of Management and Budget that are baked into his budget proposal. We need to examine and understand those projections. And then we need to look at these budget gimmicks that are being imposed, whether it's for tax delinquent payments, robbing dollars out of the road fund for a one-year pause is something that we are certainly not supportive of. And so unpacking those budget gimmicks are going to be really important. And it matters a lot because one thing that I didn't hear the governor say today, and he needs to look at the artificial supermajority of Democrats that sit in the legislature, is a promise that I will veto any budget that includes tax increases. He didn't say that. And so it leaves legislators then with the ability to come up with new revenue enhancements, tax increases, and we stand opposed to further taxing the state of Illinois. We are taxed to the max. And so the governor needed to step forward and be crystal clear today. And in addition to all the other things said, I'm disappointed that that was not part of the speech.